Well, my dear subscribers, a lot has happened since I last uploaded in terms of not only Smash, but overall Nintendo speculation. So we're going to keep this video Smash dominant, but there's a little something I need to address. In fact, it's more than a little something, it's an actual big something that could result in some future Smash news for us in just under 2 weeks' time. So according to a couple somewhat credible leakers, yeah, take that how you will, claims are being made that the Nintendo Direct will air the week of July 20th. In fact, signs are pointing that it could actually air on Monday the 20th itself, so that's in 1 week. This comes from a particular leaker by the screen named of Keilos, who accurately predicted the Animal Crossing Direct that happened back in February, and perhaps even more eyebrow-raising, they predicted the Direct Mini that got shadow dropped at the end of March. Now, again, take this bit of information with the biggest grain of salt you can possibly imagine and fester up in your mind. But this is a bit of speculation, and it has driven a newfound energy and excitement into the Nintendo fan base. It has been over 10 months since we had a Nintendo General Direct that wasn't considered a mini or game-specific. It was the Direct where Terry was revealed, and Overwatch was announced to be coming to the Switch. So yeah, it's been a long time since we got a proper presentation, and personally, I felt that Direct Mini we had was practically a General Direct, as the thing was nearly a half hour long, but even then, over a full quarter of the year has passed since even that presentation was shared online. It's time Nintendo has announced what they plan to release this coming fall and winter. So, I expected their first Direct in some time to be during this summer quarter, but I thought it would be at the end, during the month of September. But according to some prominent insiders, again, parentheses, it's allegedly going to happen shortly after Paper Mario The Origami King launches, which would be pretty decent timing due to the fact that The Origami King was Nintendo's last real significant announcement about anything. So with Paper Mario releasing on Friday, Nintendo really does have to let us consumers know what's next, so to speak. But again, I still think there's a chance they don't do their expected Quarter 3 Direct until sometime in September, but apparently, GameStop SKUs have just surfaced, practically confirming new Nintendo products may be announced imminently. So yeah, there could be a lot to look forward to in about a week's time. But don't take it that I'm confirming this Direct, everybody. Please don't do that. I'm far from confirming this thing as being legitimate. But merely, I'm just talking about the potential of one like all the other Nintendo-related channels have already done. And inevitably, when we do get that faithful Nintendo Direct, whether it be at the end of this month, in August, or at the latest in September, I think it's safe to say the Challenger Pack 7 will be revealed during said presentation. And by that, I mean we get an easy teaser trailer confirming their identity, much in the same way that Joker and Terry were revealed. We know who's coming, but no gameplay. But at the absolute best, we could get a Banjo or Hero situation where some gameplay is shown off along with the reveal of said character. Nintendo Directs are when these reveals generally happen for the DLC. And I'm sure a double reveal was penciled in for E3, but with its cancellation, there has been an undoubtedly silent change for Nintendo themselves. So they revealed Min Min in the usual Sakurai presentation at the end of June, and no further character announcements have been made since. Well, a Summer Direct incoming will certainly change that, and we are here to speculate exactly who could be revealed in the summer, and then released in the fall. I have a few choices that are considerable for different circumstances. Due to the climate of everything, I felt giving 3 characters who have a shot would make for an interesting discussion. And if I'm wrong, then I completely strike out 3 times over, which is always great because of sheer unpredictability. I'm all in favor of that. So we shall first take a look at our safest pick of the bunch. And by safe, I mean another first-party character. And not just any first-party character either. We're about to discuss another Pokemon! I already hear the collective sighs and groaning coming from all of you behind your screens. Now, please don't jump up all at once now. Y'all know this is coming. Whether it's the 7th Challenger Pack or the 11th, a new Pokemon from Sword and Shield will be included in Fighters Pass Volume 2. Mark my words. But who will they choose to represent this recent Pokemon game? I'm starting to think Urshifu has a real chance due to a double DLC promotion opportunity. Urshifu is a bear-looking fighting-type legendary that was added to the game via the Isle of Armor DLC for Sword and Shield, which has gotten decent spotlight since the first quarter of this year. That, and the only legendary Pokemon on the Smash roster to this day remains to be Mewtwo. Urshifu would be the first legendary inclusion in practically 19 years. Not to mention that an inclusion in Smash could revive interest in the Isle of Armor DLC for Sword and Shield, so therefore, you effectively killed two birds with one stone. I have also considered that they could go with a Pokemon from the base games, and this is a valid point with much consideration on who that could possibly be. I went through it all, and of course I went with the safest of the safe yet again. That's the theme with this first pick overall, if you haven't noticed, and I think they'd go with Cinderace. Now, he's one of the starters that's constantly in discussion on the old message boards of the web, and his design, despite being fire-type, seems like it'd be rather easy for Sakurai and the team to implement. In fact, his competition, Urshifu, also wouldn't be all that hard to translate into Smash as well, which is why it's a bit of a battle between the two of them, but in the end, I'm going to stick with Urshifu, as he would be a new legendary added to the game, and is a Pokemon who seems to have a lot of hype surrounding him here in 2020. Now it's time to dust off our tinfoil hats and reach for the stars. And by that I mean two things. I am going to reach perhaps further than I've ever reached before, and it does involve a star spirit of sorts. So, the 7th of July has long passed, but the next character, despite whenever they end up being revealed, is fighter number 77, according to the game and website, and is also Challenger Pack 7. And if we do in fact get a Nintendo Direct on the 20th, then this is the 7th month of the year. So even though July 7th itself has passed, there is still a lot of potential 7s lining up in my reaching head, and I believe Geno has a small chance to be added, representing Super Mario RPG, Legend of the 7 Stars. This would be the best time to reveal Geno and release him. Have him be the big DLC reveal of the summer with a fall release window. He's a longtime fan-requested character that could really build some hype back into the scene and be a big character to end the year with. Also, this doesn't save him for last or near the end. It gets him out of the way early, while saving a potential bigger name and somebody who might be a little more hype, or quite a bit more hype, for near the end of the second pass come sometime in 2021. Also, with Min Min's inclusion, it proves that spirit characters can indeed be upgraded, and that I think it's likely that we see at least one more spirit upgrade before this passes up. In fact, if Geno is indeed Challenger Pack 7, then that would effectively be 2 upgraded spirit characters in a row, which honestly would add a lot more to the hype and speculation sphere going forward when it comes to discussing this game. A simple who they might upgrade next, if you will. I think that'll be the question that many fans will be discussing at length going on for the rest of the year. But I'm also firmly of the belief that if Geno isn't the 7th Challenger Pack, then I doubt we see him show up as one of the 4 characters that comes after it. This is the absolute perfect spot to reveal and release him. And if it does turn out to be another first-party character like a new Pokemon or someone else in this spot, then I'd say Geno might be reserved for me costume status yet again. But it hasn't come back yet, even after Hero's inclusion to the game last year. And with Min Min being the first spirit to move on to playable, then there is still a chance for the one-off doll to make his long-awaited Smash debut. Now we move on to our final character for speculation in this video, and funny enough, I had him in my prediction for Challenger Pack 6. Then I changed my tune on him completely and thought he wasn't likely at all, and now once again, I think he has a shot, but only because of circumstance, which can practically be applied to every single character I've discussed in this video, but moving on. It's all about placement for hype, right? We can assume that Challenger Pack 7 will be the last character of Fighters Pass Volume 2 that will see a release this year in 2020. So, to keep the people invested, this has to be a decent name that keeps the hype rolling well into the new year after the eventual release of this character to the game come the fall time. And for that spot, I can't think of a better character than this year's Source Gaming Smash DLC poll winner, Crash Bandicoot. Not only is Crash fresh off a new game announcement with Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time on the horizon, but we also had a few remasters of his that were ported to the Switch. Now, games being released on Nintendo platforms and overall relevancy in the current day hasn't seemed to go hand in hand in terms of Smash DLC inclusions aside from Byleth. But Crash being a much more popular request, as he is, could still fill the gap between Challenger Packs 6 and 8 very well. He's the type of character who could create some big hype and sustain it, which is the type of reveal I feel needs to happen next. As cool as it would be to see another base roster snub like Rex or Bandana D make it in like Min Min did, I think the next character needs to be a household name. And if not a household name, then a long-term fan request. And Crash happens to check both of those boxes. Even as a Geno fan, I can admit that the hype will be in just a select group of the Smash fanbase. And while that's all well and good, Crash Bandicoot would probably get a lot more than just a vocal portion of Smash fans talking. And that's the type of hype we need to sustain this train through the fall and winter going into next year. But Crash does come with his fair share of issues. He's a third-party character, just like Geno, and this also happens to be a knock against both of them, in that we don't know how many, if any, third-party characters are even going to be included this time. There could be much less, and potentially none at all. But even if we assume that there will be one or two of them, then Crash still has a knock against him in the fact that he's Western-created. And just because we got one last pass with Banjo and Kazooie, doesn't mean we'll get another one in Volume 2, especially with the climate of the world right now. But there is also the potential that a lot of these deals were made and agreed upon before COVID spread across the world. So there is still hope for a couple popular third-party requests. Also, let's not forget that Banjo and Kazooie won last year's Source Gaming poll for Smash DLC, and ended up being a part of the first Fighter's Pass. Will Crash follow suit and become revealed as a part of Volume 2 after winning this year's Source Gaming poll? Only time will tell, I suppose. And it all starts with that expected Summer Direct. So what do y'all think? Will we get a Summer Direct for the first time ever in July, come the week of the 20th? Or do you see a Direct happening later this quarter, or if at all? Also, who do you think might show up in said Direct? Any of the characters I listed? Someone completely different? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. So now we begin the cheapest of plugs. Yes, ladies and gents, this is the time of the video again, where you can see by the lovely little graphic in front of you, there is a list to all of my social media and gaming presences. So please add and follow me on all those platforms to stay as up-to-date as you possibly can with all my content going forward. And for those of you who are new to the channel and enjoyed what you've seen and heard, please click on that lovely little subscribe button, and thank you all so very much for watching.